Good morning, everybody. And we are thankful for, I think, a much-needed asset to the district to learn about all of this musical stuff. I am the pastor, worship leader, and piano player at my church, and only musician. So I am a prime candidate for all of the things that Brother Chris Titus is going to share with us. And everybody knows the man can play. He's going to. Yeah. So we are interested in his expertise and his heart for ministry and worship. So we're going to have Brother Libby say something about Brother Titus today. So I don't think he's in trouble though.
No, he's not in trouble. That is for sure. I just want to, as a user of what you're about to hear, or a pastor of a user about what you're about to hear, is very important for me to say these things to you. It looks very overwhelming, and he's going to talk about this. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I want you to know that this is extremely practical, and that he's not showing you something that is not in use right now. And I don't know how far he's going to go into talking about this. But we have 3 sites that are currently using what he is going to show you, and all 3 sites have different levels of skill sets. And so we are in your shoes. We have a site in Leesburg that has a skill set, a site in Brunswick that has a skill set, and Brother Titus runs a site in Walkersville. You know what that skill set is. So this is not something that is theory. This is very practical, and it's in use right now. From how many people are in your site, Brother Letman? 25 people in your site, and there's no drums, there's no bass, there's no guitar. There's keys sometimes. And so Brother Ian, how many? About 25, and then Brother Titus, about 25. Okay, so we did try to keep that as even as possible, 25 people. And so I just want you to know that what you're going to hear today is a lot of technical stuff, but it is very simplistic when you put your hands to it. And I'm very thankful for Brother Titus and his vision and his burden to be able to deliver this. He's delivered it for us, and he can deliver it for you. So we welcome Brother Titus to bring what God has given him.
Thank you. A lot of great words said about me. Makes me feel a little weird. Okay, how you guys doing? Good. All right, so I'm going to talk to you guys about exploring some musical resources that you can use. I say small churches, but I want to change that to growing churches. I think that sounds better. Doesn't that sound better? I kind of thought about that after the fact, but I think this will be a benefit to you guys. I have a passion to help pastors, churches to support in this endeavor. Music is one of the most challenging things when you're trying to start a ministry, or you are a startup church, or you're a small church, or you're a growing church, or you're a big church. And these resources, I believe, will be able to benefit us all, okay? So I got a little bit of a slideshow here for you guys, and then I'll get into the technical stuff, all right? So don't be overwhelmed by all of this stuff. I'm actually going to leave all of this up for you, so if you want to kind of play around after the sessions are over and kind of get a feel for it, get your hands on it, that's why these 2 setups are here. You don't need all of this stuff to do what we're about to do, okay? All right, so let me grab this here. Okay, so we are talking about resources. And I want to talk about something, I want to bring something to your mind. I want us to define what we think good worship music is. What do you think good worship music is? Don't look at the screen. You guys are going to just give me the answers here. What do you think about as good worship music? Yeah. Everybody can participate. I love that. Somebody else. Good worship music, yeah. Songs with no complicated words that are straight to the point. That is someone that knows exactly what they want to hear in church. Yeah. Amen. I love that. Love that. Anybody else? Yeah. Love it, love it, love it. I love that nobody said like a 5-piece band and like 6 singers and like all of that kind of stuff, like all that. Like I love that because a lot of times we think good music is that. It's that big group, the amazing singers and like the 5-piece band and the horn section and all of that kind of stuff. And sometimes we can be overwhelmed when we go to like a big conference and it's like excitement and it's loud and it's crazy and we go home to just little old us on the keyboard and the drums. And I want us to redefine what good music looks like. And here's some things that I define good music to be. It should be meaningful and reflective of the congregation's beliefs and values. It should be accessible and easy to participate in. There you go. It's not up there? That's weird. Oh, good. It should be well-crafted and musically appealing. It should be diverse and inclusive. It should be performed with excellence and humility. Amen? And really important is it should be performed void of distractions. What makes music good is that you're not focusing on your limitations or you're not focusing on the things that create a distraction. And so it's important is that when you're thinking about growing your music ministry, what are those things that can be a distraction to what's happening, the flow of the Spirit, right? And so let's talk about that. Some normal distractions, right? Technical difficulties. Anybody ever have technical difficulties? Believe it or not, we had a lot of technical difficulties in this conference. But it happens. But they create distractions. Unfamiliar with, not being familiar with the music. Anybody ever went up and thought you were confident, you knew you were going to be able to do that song and you forgot the words to the second verse or the third chorus? I know it happens to us all. Not being current or updated, poor sound quality, lack of practice. I hope that's nobody's story because we all should be practicing. Bad notes, focal pitch issues. We've seen it all. And if you're online at all, you can see a gamut, a highlight reel of these kind of issues happening in service, right? And really one of the major things is ineffectively translating the music. You ever like hear a song and a CD and then you want to go do that song in your service and it sounds nothing like the original? And you're trying your best. You're just trying your best. But you just can't get all the little synth parts that make the sound great or the pads or all the extra stuff. And bless your heart, you want to do that song and it just doesn't come out right. And you hear, sometimes you might even go on places, not any of your churches, because you guys have awesome, great stuff. But you might go places and the song should be like an upbeat at like a 150 BPM and it sounds more like a country song because it's at like an 80 BPM. Right? And so translating the music effectively is important. And so a lot of the software that I'm going to show you is going to help support that so that you can translate the music properly. If anybody wants to take any pictures of the slide, just stop me and I will go back and I will get it for you. Okay, the first one? This one? That one? Cool. Give you a second to do that. And so these resources are going to help with that. You good? All right, so let's talk about some current technologies and how that can enhance your music. All right, okay, so audio enhancement, we talked about sound issues. Accessibility technology can make Christian worship music more accessible to a wider audience, and that's what we want. We want to be able to touch a wider audience. Creativity, technology can help and be a powerful tool to foster creativity in your music. And when you invest in these digital audio workstations, these synthesizers, musical software, and you invest in your ministry, it can help provide an engaging and refreshing music department. Collaboration and also integration. All right, so why is it current? Why is being current important? And so I want to really kind of unpack for you guys the importance of staying current, staying with what's happening. You know, all of our stuff is online now. And I think it was Brother Thompson who said, you know, someone who, before they come to our church, they've already probably checked out 4 or 5 of our videos before they've come to our service. What are they seeing? Are they distracted by some of the things that they're seeing? Are they seeing, man, that's cool, but they don't seem like they're as current or modern. They haven't adapted or not relevant. And so it's important for us to be current. And by doing that, what we do is worship leaders can enhance the quality of their service and reach a larger audience. And that's what we want to do, okay? But it requires something of us. Can anybody read that? It requires a willingness to embrace change and adapt new ways of doing things. So be open. We have to be open. We have to be willing to try something different. Here's a quote for you. Change is the only constant in life. And so we're going to kind of unpack a couple of these things. I want to give some opportunity for questions and answers, but I want to give you some demonstrations of some of the things that we're using in order to incorporate some of these things in our system. And like Pastor Sean said, we are a big church, and so we use these systems in big church, and we use these systems in our small campuses. And it's been a blessing to us to be able to have these resources. And so you're in good hands. We understand what it means to be in small and big, okay? Okay, so I want to focus on 3 main characters. Now, there's a ton of technology out there, but I want to focus on these 3 aspects, okay? The latest musical equipment, and so I provided a couple of keyboards here so you can kind of play around and see what are the latest musical equipment that's out there. I really recommend that you invest in a good piano. Can all the piano players say amen? Okay, there's nothing like a bad piano. There's nothing like it. Okay, invest in it. And I mean invest it, not don't spend for it, invest. And when you invest, it means you're gonna have that piano. Most of the top pianos, they're lasting 10, 15 years. So even though you might be spending a heavy amount in the beginning, it's going to be an investment that impacts your music department overall. So musical equipment, instrument like multi-tracks and loop community, we'll kind of talk about that a little bit. And then I'm going to provide just some resources, some educational resources that are at your disposal that can help enhance your music department, okay? So those are the 3 tiers, and we'll kind of go through that, all right? So here's what's important about exploring technical side of technology, okay? Choosing the right equipment, we talked about that. My recommendation here, and my recommendation is just my preference, but this keyboard is the Montage here. You see this is a Nord. There are lower level tiers of this keyboard that provide the same benefits of this that you can invest in that can be beneficial. You'll see here, this is a launch key, and I'm going to use this later on. This provides the ability to use those multi-tracks and trigger them through MIDI, a musical instrument. What is it, Julian? You don't know? Music, digital interface. Thank you. All right, awesome. So here's one here. There's a couple of other examples of them as well. That one is the M Audio version. And then there's a couple of different pads there that you can use. These elements are not keyboards. They don't have sounds to them. They just simply provide communication to the software that you use. You trigger either sounds or you give commands to the software that you're using to be able to run them. And I'll explain that and show that a little later, okay? Learning how to use the equipment. We live in a world of YouTube. We should be able to do that. Experiment with the new sounds, new layerings, different virtual sounds. It makes a huge difference in the way that your music sounds, even if you're a beginner musician or you're an advanced one. Collaborating tools here that I would recommend is Dropbox. I use a lot of Dropbox to keep files of loops and tracks and lead sheets and any kind of software stuff that I want to keep hold of. And using Dropbox allows me to be able to send to other musicians and other musicians to send to me. So Rehearsal Mix is a part of multi-track, which I'm going to get into a little bit. This is a great tool to help your musicians be able to prepare for the music using the original tracks and the original instrumentation of the songs you want to do. Okay, so there's some elements there. And then just integrating some of this technology that we've talked about, multi-tracks, Loop Community, Ableton Live. Am I moving too fast? I want to make sure everybody can take pictures if they like. All right, so I want to give you a quick demonstration of this montage. This also applies for the Modi X as well. And this keyboard here provides a wealth of benefits to the worship set. And I'm going to just show you a couple of things here. All right, here we go. All right, so this is what you're hearing here already is layers, okay? So a typical classic keyboard would just sound like this, just a simple keyboard. But with this keyboard, I'm allowed to provide layers to my sound that I can control and manipulate to get a certain ambience or sound or feel that I want to have. So you can hear there's some pads in there. So that's layers. You can see this keyboard can produce multiple layers from it. There's a ton of things that it can also do as well. I want to show you this too. We'll talk about this in a second, but I wanted to show you. This keyboard also provides the ability to add in different sounds with it as well. And some of you guys are familiar with this, but I want to make, for those who are not familiar with it. So you can see through this keyboard, I can actually add loops inside. It's already built inside. And I can manipulate those loops to be whatever tempo that I want it to be. So I can speed that up. Or I can slow it down. So. That song. So that's an example. That's an example of some of the options that this keyboard can do. Great sound quality, performance capabilities, seamless integration. One of the major benefits of this keyboard is that you can flow in between different sounds. So let's say I'm here. So I have a lot of capability of manipulating the feel and the flow of a song. You guys hear the difference in the different strings and pads and sounds? So it gives you a seamless integration. It's easy to use. It's very, very reliable. There's a lot of expandability with this keyboard. So I recommend either the Montage or the Modi X as an option for your church. Very, very good for having some features that are helpful for worship music. All right. The Nord is one of my second favorite keyboards. I'm a big Yamaha fan, as you can imagine, but Nord has a really good sound quality, high. This is probably the best quality key bed that I have ever felt. Meaning the way the responsiveness of the keys under your fingers, it's like finger candy. It's wonderful. Very, very versatile, portable. And then this is also able to be updated and expandable as well. So I won't spend a lot of time on this because I'll give you a chance to kind of play around with these if you like to, but it's important to invest in good sound instruments, amen? All right, let's talk about pads, all right? So what you saw there earlier was that I was using a layering system, and I layered on some warm pads and some strings. But there's also the ability to use pads in a way that creates an awesome atmosphere It provides ambient sound, a seamless transition between stuff. And these are really, really helpful for a small setup in a small, a growing church, not small, growing church. If I say small again, just like flick me on the head or something, okay? Growing church, because we all got growing churches, right? So facilitate creativity and spontaneity. It enhances a sense of prayer and reflection. It supports the worship team in a good flow and enhances prayer and reflection, okay? So I'm going to kind of introduce that to you a little bit. Where is, there you go, awesome. Let's give them a little demo of this. All right, so let's do, how great. So this here is, I want to introduce to you this little purple thing on the ground. Can you all see it? I'll lift it up here. You guys can all see that. This is the atmosphere. And this is, there are many ways to provide pads. This is one that you can use as a individual output, but there are apps that are cheaper. A lot of the systems I'm going to show you guys in a second are already, there's some pads already built into it. But for purposes of today, I wanted you guys to be able to experience it. So this atmosphere provides me with 5 different layering pad sounds, and there can be more added. But you can change the key to whatever key you want, and it provides this ambient sound, right? You see the atmosphere just shifted, the Holy Ghost just fell right then and there. Just kidding, okay? And what that does is it provides kind of a good flow while you're singing.
How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God.
That's with it. This is without it.
How great
See how it kind of got dry in
is
here?
our God? Sing with me, how great.
Okay, let's fix this right now. Do you guys hear the difference? Okay, my wife could not hear the difference. And I'm putting her out there because I want her to hear that y'all can hear the difference. Because I showed her this and she's like, what's the difference? And I'm like, what do you mean? But it creates this atmosphere, right? You feel the difference? And the cool thing about it is that it allows you to not, sometimes as a musician, especially when you're in a small setting, you feel like you're carrying the service, or you feel like you're carrying the moment, and if you stop playing just to scratch your nose, it's going to be a huge distraction. You ever felt that way? Yeah. And so this provides a little bit of an ambience to be able to not feel so bound, especially when you're by yourself. So you don't have to do a lot with it. You can just add chords in there. So I'm just hitting little chords. And here's another example. So here's a different sound here. So really good for talk music, really good for altar call before you're trying to get that, you don't know what to do, but you know it's time to shift. It's good for prayer. And just a little bit of a pad there. If I'm coming to the altar right now, it just gives you that feel. been in that where you're like, if you don't, like, keep playing. The Holy Ghost is moving. Right? And you're like, I need to use the bathroom. Right? And you want to kind of like, you want a break. There's your break right there. You can just walk away from it. You're like, God, they're good. All right. All right, so that's pads, all right? So like I said, this device here is called the Atmosphere. It's a little pricey. It's about what, $300, $350 for it. There are some apps. This company actually has a $5 app. So if you don't want to spend the money for this, you can also purchase the app. There's benefits and pluses of that. Having this is there. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to put your phone on silent mode or whatever. But the app is cheaper, so you can do whatever you want with that. All right, we kind of talked about loops a little bit, and I gave you a little bit of an example of loops. I'll give you some more examples. Questions?
So great example, but for somebody who is like music terminology is a foreign language,
Okay.
would you like define what a pad is, what a loop is?
Yeah.
Music stores say, I need some pads, I need some loops.
Yeah. So a pad is just that sound that we had. It's just this ambiance, this sound. And there's different ways to get it, but it just creates this kind of like, now what's happening on this particular pad is, it is in one key. It's just one note. So if I'm in the key of C, it's just playing. Now I can use a pad on a keyboard. I can have a pad layer, but that layer only plays when I play. The benefit of this is it continues to go constant. So by definition, it's just simply this ambiance feeling of sound, of a sonic, seamless, atmospheric ambiance. It creates the kind of feel in the mode. It's good for prayer, altar call, pre-service, any of those moments where, you just, you need kind of a sound. And also while you're doing songs, as well as through kind of a transition between one song and the next. You ever like start a song and then it's like dead dry and you're trying to get ready? Yeah.
Could you demo what it sounds like from switching key to key on the pedal?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna be in the key of C. All right, I'll just do this. I'll play How Great Is Our God in C, and I'm gonna go to D flat. So I want you to hear that.
Is our God, and all will see how great is our God. How great is our God. Did it switch?
I never switched it, did I?
So like in the instance that like you're going from one song to another and you need to transition those two songs, can you show us how that like works
Okay,
with the pedal?
so in that key. How great.
Is our God.
Right? So next song. So this here, when you abort it, you can see it will slowly fade out. Okay? So what you can do in the meantime is you can set up, let's say your next song is in the key of D. So before that, C, so like before you transition out, so this is C. Now I'm gonna go to D flat. Now it's still, I'm gonna go to D. It's still currently right now in C, right? It won't go to D until I engage it again, okay? So right now I'm in C, but I've already set it to D. Now I can engage. You see the transition switch? You see that? So now, it's very, very seamless, and I'm not like having it's not a dead moment. It's like I'm in I can set the next key, and then it won't happen. It won't move until I hit engage. So on this pad here, what you'll see is the buttons that I'm hitting is abort, which is a good button. It's like cancel, mistake, I'm in the wrong key. And then you have engage. Engage is going to engage whatever you have set. So these two top ones here, you guys can see, is the key up and down. So I can move up and down all 12 keys. And right now I'm in A flat. It will not start until I hit engage. Once I hit engage, it will go. The next song is in B flat. So I set B flat. It won't start until I hit engage. And it will shift. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? All right, cool. So pads. Any other questions about pads? Okay. Oh, man. All right.
You want to know how loops work?
Who?
What is a loop?
So a loop is what I just showed you here, where it's just like an extra click, a metronome. Loops are really good for creating foundation to lock your musicians in. I recommend it as like a metronome. It enhances the musical texture. It keeps everybody in sync so that you don't have like a fast song sound like a country song. Everybody can be locked into that loop. It's very, very important, very helpful. Very helpful for small churches. And like I said, an example of that was just growing churches. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And it helps you to provide, it gives like adaptability and variety, right? So like if I went back to that same one, see if I can find it real quick. Okay, so again, I can change the tempo, right? So back to my first song. So I could play this song, I could play this without that, right? And it would sound like a... Sorry, I'm trying to find it. There it is. Okay, so without that... and with it... locks me in. You see the difference? So having that loop there, it gives everybody something to lock into, especially if you have a bass player or a drummer. Extremely important for drummers to play with loops. Extremely important. Okay? So those are loops. I'm going to try to move on because I think I'm running out of time, and I haven't even gotten into the good stuff. Okay. Using stems to enhance your worship music, multi-tracks, loop community, Ableton Live. Take a picture of this. These are the three major software DAWs that you can use to enhance your worship music, okay? This is a good, better, best, okay? I want you to look at this as loop community is like the best way to get involved if you want to just start out. It's like an entryway point. It's a very simple, basic system. Multi-tracks is like the Apple. Android is like loop community. Multi-tracks is like Apple, okay? They have their own ecosystem, so they have everything. They give you the multi-tracks, the original masters to the songs that you love, so you can play along with the exact original masters. You can manipulate and you can manipulate each one of the different sounds that are connected. You can adjust and have flexibility like you talked about and move around in it, as well as have lead sheets, have practice tracks, have integration to Planning Center. Multi-tracks is like an ecosystem, but you're going to pay for it. It's expensive. You're going to pay for everything. You're going to pay for the lead sheets. You're going to pay for the tracks. You're going to pay for the software to use, and many of them are subscriptions, okay? Loop Community provides a free platform that works on both your laptop, your iPad, as well as your phone. You can literally download it today and be starting tomorrow. Ableton Live is like, don't start here. Because if you start here, you get frustrated and you'll not want to do it. And you'll come back next year and you say, Brother Titus, I tried all of that, but I don't know about all that stuff. I just need Jesus, and that's it. I don't like all that technical stuff. Okay, so don't go right to Ableton Live. But Ableton Live provides a huge benefit because you can take any multi-tracks, add it into that DAW or that digital audio workstation, and you can use that. So for instance, most of the artists that we love, James Wilson, Mark Crowder, Draylen Young, all of their songs have multi-tracks that if you want to play their songs as it is in the original, you can download those multi-tracks and you can use them in each one of these systems, okay? I got 30 minutes. Okay, cool, that's not bad. All right, so let's talk a little bit about multi-tracks. Like I said, multi-tracks is they're an ecosystem. They are a world. They have figured out every aspect of it. It's kind of like, you know how Apple has you on the iMessage, and then they got you on like the Pages, and they got you on like, you get an iPhone, and you get an iPad, and you get a MacBook, and you're all into the entire ecosystem. And when somebody gives you that green bubble, it just drives you crazy. Anybody hate the green bubble, right? That's what multi-tracks is set up. They're set up in such a way where they want you to stay within their ecosystem. And so what they have is rehearsal mix. This is, you can take those multi-tracks and you can send the part of the bass player to the bass player. And he can practice the bass from the original masters. You can tell the drummer, hey, you've been a little off lately. I'm going to send you this track. Play with this so you can get the original drum parts, okay? They also have in their ecosystem Chart Builder, and Chart Builder provides you with not just the lead sheet, but the exact lead sheet in the order of the song that you're purchasing the multi-tracks from. So you can literally see this lead sheet is going to match up exactly to the multi-track that you're playing. Am I moving too fast? Okay, cool. And then inside of the multi-tracks ecosystem, they have their own app that you can purchase, you can use to run their systems. And I'll show you that here in a second. So this is multi-tracks. This is their particular setup. And you see here, it gives you a plethora of options and things that you can do with it. I'm going to play a little version of this song here. So this is their system. I'll show you, basically all the systems are the same. But this one here, you can see that it breaks it down into this beginning is the intro, verse 1, chorus. And as you're playing along linearly, you'll be able to see what the next part is. A lot of the benefits of this is, as well as you can, if you want to continue to do another part, you can hit this button here and it will bring it back to the verse again. So if you want to do the verse again, you have a seamless transition to go back into the verse. And I'll show you that, guys, in a second. I don't know why this is working, but this is the multi-tracks playback system. This is that higher tier one. Okay. So this is the multi-tracks. Now, their system, you don't have to use, you can just purchase the tracks from them. You don't have to purchase the tracks and the actual DAW that they use, okay? This is Loop Community. This is Loop Community. Loop Community is the best point of entry to start, because they have different layers of tiers. Most of the multi-tracks are about $35 a track. Loop Community allows you to be able to buy different price points, that have different price points. So you can buy a track as low as $5 and as high as $30, okay? You'll see they have some of the songs that we know and love. It's a very easy, user-friendly interface. It literally is just start and go and you're ready to go, okay? And I'm gonna demonstrate that here in a second, if this one will work. All right, so this is,
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
this is what you would typically hear in your ear, is a little click and a cue, somebody cueing you to tell you what's gonna happen next, all right? And so, a couple benefits about this is you'll see here that there's a linear line here and that shows you exactly what you're going to see, what's going to come up next. So you have verse, chorus, one, and that guide is going to guide you through the entire process, okay? So if you were to set this up, it would be you, a keyboard, you would run one side to your house that will go out to everyone else, and then these tracks here that are in the red would only go to you in your ears. You would need an in-ear monitor system to use these. And that ear will guide you through the process. And you'll hear this linear movement happening, okay? Now, if I want, I can manipulate any of these. I can mute the drums and take the drums completely out. I can add the drums in.
Verse 2, 3.
I can just do drums if I want. If I want to just play along with just me and drums, I can do that. You can also hear that there's some vocals in here. This is also really helpful too if you're wanting to teach parts, because you can use these vocal parts to be able to teach your soprano part, your alto part, and your tenor part for most of the tracks. Not all of the tracks are set up that way, but many of them are set up this way, okay? And then you can manipulate, like I want to go right to the bridge. It's going to move through this, this verse, and you'll see it's going to jump from the verse right to the bridge.
Bridge 2, 3, 4.
And it was seamless. You see, that was a complete seamless transition. You don't have to worry about it feeling like a cutoff, you know? Okay? And so you can manipulate a launch pad in order to trigger where you want to go with these things. Now, here's my caveat. My recommendation, if you start using these things, don't focus on wanting the flexibility first. And I know that's what we all want. We want our services to flow. We want to be able to move around and not be limited to this track system, because it can feel limiting. But it's important that when you first start out, that you get more comfortable with this versus hitting the wrong button and you go to the chorus and then the whole thing falls apart. And then you made a huge distraction, okay? So I would recommend walking through it slowly. The way that they order the arrangement, the recording artist spent a lot of time arranging it that way because it flowed really well, okay? And I know our services, we want to be able to go to the bridge again, go to the chorus again. But I would recommend and encourage you, if you want to invest in these things, don't start off looking at how you can manipulate them at first. Just get comfortable using them and them not falling apart. I would recommend a dedicated laptop or iPad that is only for this purpose. That way you don't get a notification that bings, or you don't have an issue, or somebody's, you know, bought their laptop and they just bless their heart and it's falling apart. It doesn't really work that well and it crashes in the middle of service, okay? So there's a lot of manipulation here. The cool thing, let me show you some cool features of this. And this is in all of the different systems, but you'll see here this E. And this E provides you the ability to change the key. So maybe there's a song that you like, but it's just a little too high for you, okay? There you go. Now you can go into C, and it's automatically, where am I at? C?
Intro 2, 3, 4.
So I go to a verse so you can kind of hear. But that's for a low tenor that wants to sing this song, okay? And you can switch it. Now, I would not recommend to switch it in the middle of service, okay? But if you ever feel like you wanted to just DJ a little bit, okay? But the reality is some of us, you know, this song, you know, Draylen Young is a high singer. I can't sing his, you know. And some of these songs, like for instance with this one, they drop, right? It's like the verse kind of goes, I don't know, but you understand, like it's a high, and then the next part is like low, and the next part is high. You're like, I can hit the low part, but I can't hit the high part. So you can manipulate it and change it to whatever key you want it to be in. This also has a pad that's included. So let's say if I'm in the key of E, I can actually add an E pad like I had there to that. So when I play, I have that pad already built in, okay? So as I'm playing the song, that pad is underneath as well, providing that. And the benefit of that is that when you're ending the song, that pad will still be there, and it will allow you to have a seamless transition, right? So you kind of hear that pad is still there, all right? The other cool thing about this system here is you'll see this little button here. I'm able to cause the next song to play automatically without having to man this, okay? So if I hit this little button here and I hit audio advance, when I hit play, what you'll see is that I have a little bit of a time of ending, and it will flow right into the very next song. And you're there. And
Verse
nobody
2,
knows.
3,
Now you're in the next
4.
song. Okay? And you can have that same pad, same thing over there. You can go to the D and you can have that pad going at the same time with that flow. All right, so that's Loop Community. All of them kind of have the same ordeal, but Loop Community is kind of the easiest one to get into. Any questions about that? You can change the tempo as well, yeah? Okay, so Ableton Live, let's talk a little bit about that one. And actually, that's just kind of bring us to the end a little bit here, and then I'll have some time for questions. All right, so Ableton Live, let's just introduce this to you. This is the system. As you can see, it's a little bit more robust, okay? And so it's not for the faint of heart. I wouldn't recommend to start here, but I do want to introduce it to you because it provides a plethora of benefits that some of the other systems don't do. The other systems are kind of set up like an app. This is more like a software. So you have the ability to make a lot of other adjustments. Actually, let me show you one more thing before we go there. The other cool thing about this is, in this system, let's say you want, there's a part in there, like let's say this here. In this song, there's an instrumental part and it's just too long, right? So we did this song earlier today.
4.
And you're in this instrumental part and you feel like it's just too long of a moment. And I don't want to just be like ad-libbing and exhorting and you're a little nervous and you're like, come on, get to the bridge. I want to just sing the bridge. And it just feels like so much time is going by. You can actually come in and edit this system and you can say edit arrangement and you can just say delete and it's gone. And you can take that part out. You can also add parts. You can also move parts. Maybe you want the bridge to go twice together and you can move parts and it will be seamless. You won't see a difference. Maybe you want the chorus to go first and you want another chorus first. You can already pre-plan how you want this service to be. You can already pre-plan the anointing. That was it. I'm glad y'all caught that. There was a moment there where you guys didn't laugh and I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. I'm gonna have to repent, okay? But you can pre-plan out your services and already get a feel for what you want to happen, all right? And you can kind of flow in that. So that's one of the benefits for that. Okay. Yes. You mean like minimize the chorus?
Can you shorten it versus delete it?
No, not really. No, you can't. You can do that at Ableton Live. In Prime and in Loop Community, you'll mess up the stitching, and it won't stitch together well, and then it'll have a jolt, and it will feel and sound like you stitched it or you chopped out a spot. Okay, but you can take out any part, you can add parts to it, you can make it as long as you want, and you can flow seamlessly to the next part. Any other questions? It'd be the whole area. So like for instance, this instrumental, even though I took out the one instrumental, there's still a lot of instrumental left in this. Death could not hold. So that's where you are, right? All right. So you can take out some, you can manipulate some, but you can't manipulate it all. All right? Great question. All right, so I'm gonna come out of this. I'm gonna show you Ableton Live. Okay, so this is Ableton Live. Ableton Live allows you to take a stem or a track or a multi-track. Like if you wanna take James Wilson's Something happens when I call your name. You can go to his website. You can download his track. You can add it into Ableton Live. And you will have it laid out simply like this, where you'll have each individual track, a soprano, alto, tenor, background vocals, all of that broken down just like this. You also see these little markers here. And as I click the marker, you'll see there's a little line, green little arrow underneath of it. That's where it will trigger from if I put that marker there. I can also connect that marker to a MIDI keyboard like this, and I can trigger it from there, and I can have a seamless transition. So this song is Joy is Coming by Travis Green. Anybody know this song? Anybody don't know this song? Okay, sorry, bro. I try to find songs that everybody would know. Okay.
1.
So this is how it would sound.
Intro. 2, 3, 4.
So you get a lot of ability with this here. Now,
Verse 1.
I've already set this up to be triggered. You see that? See how the arrow just moved? I have it triggered to go to the intro. And the benefit of this is if your singers get off, you can always kind of get them back on. Okay?
1.
So here it is from the start. You'll
Intro.
watch this.
2, 3, 4.
So there's the count off. Now I'm in the intro. Let's say if the singers are not ready.
Verse
I can
1.
go back and right back into the intro. Get them right there. Okay? Same thing. And so what I did was, this is my system, my mindset, but you can set it however you want. What I did was I did C for chorus, B is verse, B flat is bridge. And so I know what is set up based off of my own thinking. But you could label these, mark them, and make your own triggers. But my mindset is C is the chorus, B is the verse, B flat is the, was that? Yeah, you're just seeing this. So you'll see C is the chorus. You'll see as I hit B, it goes to the verse. There's my intro. There's my intro there. And so you can basically use these as like a controller to control where you want the product to go. Does that all make sense? All right, so let's get through this. I can show you this really quickly, and then I'm gonna answer any questions you guys might have. I got one little section, and then we'll be good. All right, so here's that song. So we're in the verse. I said I want to go
Verse 1.
to verse 1, but I want to go here. All right, I want to go back to the chorus. Now, the benefit of this system here is you have more ability to trigger when you want it to happen. So you'll see this bar here says 2 bars. It will wait 2 bars and then go to the next part. Or you can have it trigger where there's no bars. So if I did no bars, now this is, you gotta be pretty professional to kind of handle this. But I can just kind of be here. So you have a lot of ability. Now, I wouldn't recommend you do that in service. I could already see the phone calls and the emails. Yeah, that's youth service. There you go. Youth service. Give them a little remix. So you got a little bit of ability there. You can also control what you hear. So if you want to like use this for your choir practices, your sound checks, you can be able to break down those individual parts. We will fear no evil. We'll trust in the Lord with our hearts, and in your joy we will dwell forever. And you can loop these sections, which is pretty cool too. So let's say I want to just practice this section here. I can loop the section, boom, there it is. And it's going to play automatically over and over again until I tell it not to. So this is great for your entire music department, not just a live setting. Maybe you're wanting to, like, in band practice, we use this a lot to break it down for the drummers. That's not it. Watch this, listen to this real quick. Yeah.
I just want to say, maybe emphasize, it doesn't have to be run by the keyboards. It can be run by any member of the band.
Very true.
The sound person.
Yep. I have been to churches where the sound person ran it. Yes, if you have a technical person, it's great. I've seen it where a sound team has done it, and somebody's in the back of the sound, and they just like already 1, 2, and they trigger them off. I've run them from the keyboard. Brother Thomas has run them from the drums. He literally plays drums and does not miss a beat and can trigger us into a loop or track seamlessly. And what we do a lot of times is, in order to make sure that we don't have a huge problem, we keep tracks, which are these, and we keep loops, which I showed you on here, always ready. So if the track fails, we have a loop to lead back on. And he is the master drum DJ. He can just bring it right back in, and we're on the one. His name is On the One. His name is #OnTheOne, because he will be there on the one every time. If you can get a drummer that's also a technical person, that can, I mean, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. All right, so this system here, like I said, let me just play a little bit more for you so you can get an idea of it.
2, 3, 4.
So you'll hear that little click in your ear, click, 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 click. Again, with this, you can manipulate it. If I want to go a little bit slower, if I want to go a little bit faster, you can. No, the only thing that you're going to hear. Yeah.
1, 2, intro, 2, 3, 4.
That's all they hear. But you're hearing 1, 2,
Verse 1.
2.
We will not be shaken. We will not be moved.
Okay, so again.
Your light can drown our darkness and bring our joy to life. We won't submit to sorrow. Our joy is coming in the morning.
If I want to repeat that again, I'm not limited.
In the morning.
We're going to go back.
Your light can drown our darkness and bring our joy to life. We won't submit to sorrow. Our joy is coming in the morning.
Again, I triggered.
In the morning. Your light.
And it's about you want to trigger it right at the point where someone would give you a signal, okay? And so that kind of gives you an idea about that. A lot of other benefits with this system here is that you can send out the different sounds to different outputs. So not everything is coming from one output. You can send just drums, just singers. And the way we set it up is, for our big service, we have 1 is click, 2 is track stuff, synth stuff, vocals, 3 is on guitars on 3, and vocals are on 4. So you can actually turn down your vocals and turn up the vocals in the track if you got a problem. You can just kind of like, somebody's flat, yeah. And you have that ability. So those are the benefits of that, all right? Last thing, let's go to this slide. Last thing I want to introduce to you, and you want to put your phones out for this. This is a plethora of resources that I would recommend that you guys get involved in if you're not involved. Apostolic Praise School of Music. This is a guy who's apostolic. He has a music program that is phenomenal. He breaks down the parts for you. He has, I think, like weekly sessions where you can do Zoom. If you want private lessons, that's an opportunity for you. UPCI Music is a huge benefit. They provide multi-tracks, they provide clicks, they provide pads, they provide instructional videos on the latest songs that are out. Most of them are apostolic songs, so if you want to do a lot more apostolic material, you have the ability to use that through this system. It's a subscription base, it's like $37 a month, but it's well worth it. Many of the instructors that teach some of the songs and make some of the videos, the tutorial videos, are right here in Maryland. We've got some awesome musicians here. Brother Tabaras is one of the instructors. I think you're one of the instructors also, right? Am I wrong? Upcoming, soon to be, it's coming. Brother Gabriel is one. I'm one of them. Who else is, anybody else here? Zach, thank you. So a lot of the musicians here in Maryland are blessing and being a benefit to the entire UPC. So I would recommend that you reach out to them and that you support this ministry. This here is Chart Builder. Chart Builder is a separate app in the multi-tracks ecosystem. It is a huge benefit because they have a lot of the most current material and stuff like that. Lastly, this one here is, you can't see it, but it's called Moises. Like noises, but with an M, okay? It's a really cool piece of software. You can take an audio file, you can put it into their system, and using AI technology, you can break up those individual parts and be able to hear the parts that you want to hear. All right? Any questions? That's all I have for you today. Any questions? 7 minutes? Okay. I want to answer any questions that you might have. Anything, there's no dumb question. Yeah. Yeah. Correct. Yep. I can make it available to you if you like. Yeah. Is the what? It can work. What do you think about that, Gabriel? You trust GarageBand? Oh, Gabe. Sorry, Julian. What do y'all think about that? Y'all trust GarageBand? I don't trust it for a live service. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah. Yep. Each one of these systems, multi-tracks, Loop Community, and Ableton Live, you can break up the vocals. Now, it does depend on the actual multi-track. Some of the multi-tracks, they come as like background vocals all built in together, where it's all three parts together and you can't separate it. Other tracks, they are separated and you can individually break those up.
One other thing, I'll put my plug in. Ableton Live, it doesn't have to be running on Apple products. It can be run on Windows.
That's true.
I run Windows and Android and it works.
Yes. You can use all of them on, right? Not Loop Community. Not Prime. Well, you can use Prime on a laptop. Okay. Yeah.
For places where they mix songs together, make your own creation, do you have that capability with this program where you can mix certain tracks and songs together?
So Loop Community is a little bit more organic, where they have individuals like Julian and Gabe that are producers, and maybe they want to put their stuff on Loop Community, and you can get their stuff personally if you want to do that. Is that what your question? That answers your question?
He's asking if you could do a mashup, I think is what he's saying. You want to tag a song.
Oh, yes. You can do that through Ableton Live. Ableton Live is, like I said, it's the more robust system. So you can actually add in multiple songs in one arrangement, and they can flow seamlessly to each other. Yeah, you can do that. Great questions. Yeah.
If you get the program, can you share it within other churches?
Great question. Yes. So Loop Community, we actually use Loop Community for our connection points. We use multi-tracks and Ableton Live here and our big services, and we all use the same account. So,
Be careful because if one person edits that's in the cloud, then the other person will see those edits as well.
yeah. So for instance, I can pull from the cloud here, and I can pull all of these songs, and I can add them into the system. And you'll see here set list. So you'll see this is Brunswick. They're a little more organized than the other groups. You can see here their actual set lists per day. So not only can we all use the same system, we can see exactly what they were singing, what we were singing. You can create different set lists. So say, next week we're gonna sing these 4 songs. And I can look in here and I can see this is what Brunswick, this was their set list for June 6th.
Got scared for a second. I thought Sister Monique was about to rebuke me. Because we've had it at our services where the instrumentals are a little too long, or in the original song somebody's speaking over that. So let's say, for example, the instrumental is 4 bars. Well, we only want to do 2. In Ableton, you can cut it to where it's just those 2 bars in your song. That's kind of the caveat with Prime and Loop Community. You can't really edit it as much. Like if I wanted to just make even the chorus shorter, you can do that in Ableton.
Yeah, Ableton is very, very more. You want something to say? You got something to say, Gabriel? Please. These guys are great resources. They use Ableton on a level that's like genius, okay? So this is really more set up for like, it's you're a keyboard player, you want great music, and you don't want to be able to be limited, to focus on your limitations. You want to be able to provide an element or a service without having to you know.
When we're talking about that we use these in our connection point, these connection points are, I mean, they're not even people that are doing our main services. We have worship leaders that have never led worship here that are leading worship in these connection points. So when we say beginning level and brand new, because sometimes you could look at all of this and it's really intimidating, but I'm telling you, it is average Joe, never led worship in their life. Now they're standing before 25 people leading worship in a service. Never played an instrument, but they're running these tracks. They aren't even in our music department. Let's even go that far. They don't even participate in our music department, but in our connection points, they're stepping up and doing what needs to be done. So you can be like, absolutely no knowledge on anything. Maybe you don't even have music at your church. But this right here, and I love this one, Brother Chris, for any situation where you don't have a lot of high-tech people, because it's so user-friendly. And anybody can really do this. Don't let it intimidate you at all. Brother Titus can help you.
So to Sister Monique's point, like especially for one of our touch points in Brunswick, I basically, the first couple services, I was able to help someone who had no technical, no background, whatever, I won't point her out, be able to run the prime tracks, whatever. Within, I guess, Brother Ian, within 2 or 3 weeks, where she became a master of it. No technical background, whatever, how the keyboard works or how these tracks work, and within 1 or 2 services, she was a master at it.
Yeah.
So I've actually seen churches where they don't have any musicians, and what's cool about this, specifically this Loop Community app, is that all those sections of the song are touchable. So like I've seen situations where it's just one person singing, they have the iPad on the podium, and if they want to repeat the chorus, they themselves just trigger it there and on time. It like once you get comfortable with it, like he was saying, it does get to a point where you can really flow with it. And I've seen it just one person, a mic, and their iPad, and it sounds like a record because they have all the drums and trumpets and stuff.
He said that with the word.
So we're running out of time. I'm sorry. I know this is, I'm so glad. So many of you guys here are amazing. Thank you for being a part of it.
What is both of these?
I'll give one more example. I went to help set up Brother Letman at his connection point, and it was just me and him. And Brother Letman didn't practice the song. And it was Power in Your Name. It was Power in Your Name. That's right. This story lives, obviously. And so I'm running the computer, okay, and he's singing, except he doesn't really know the sequence of the song. Even though we've all sung the song 100 times, we don't pay attention to the sequence. So I'm sitting, he's like right there, and I'm here. And so, like Brother Julian, I wanted to just follow up on Brother Julian because the clickable thing, it was very important that night. And so when he missed going into verse 2, I just went back into verse 2 again. And the way the timing works is it works itself out. Like, you don't have to worry about the timing. And then the last thing, I don't know if you addressed this, I was in the preacher side of stuff. We need you, the music side, we need you, right? So we're lacking over there right now. In between stuff, during offering, during prayer request, in between things, if you're aware of the songs that you have available to you, you can use those as atmosphere music, in between music, connecting music. And I just picked a slow song and just kept doing the vamp over and over and over again, which seemed to fit. And so you can really massage that to be very connecting all the way through. So it's just a valuable piece, and it's not super expensive. That's the beautiful thing, except if you don't have a Mac.
All right, so I will stick around for a little while if you guys want to come back after the next session and play around here and just kind of get an idea of it. Like I said, like it's been said before, this is probably the most easiest way to enter into this system, the Loop Community system, because it's much more affordable than the other ones. And so it'll be set up on both of these setups for you to be able to do that. Thank you so much. Please reach out to Brother Gabriel, Brother Julian, Brother Thomas. They are great resources in this area as well.